Hey guys, Dakota here, and today I wanted to make a video on how to find your own style. There is a lot of content that is similar to this, and you can find hundreds of examples on YouTube probably of videos on how to style certain things and this and that with fashion, but I think that there's like a very big genre and category of like men's lifestyle and fashion tips where I couldn't even name the channels, but there's specific like companies and people pushing this certain image of what a fashionable, respectable man should be, and I think that only kind of covers a certain area of what a man can be or who a man is. You know, it's very like stereotypical in terms of their tips. They basically are like, you know, you should groom yourself and you should wear button-up shirts that fit in slim khakis and, you know, some dress shoes. It's like they're just giving business casual tips, which is not very good for a person who's trying to develop their own unique style, because that's like pretty much just cookie cutter, like JCPenney at that point. That's like the largest community that exists on YouTube, I believe, when it comes to like fashion and things like that. And it's not that that's really wrong or bad. It's just I think there's a lot of different styles that they're missing out on that they kind of just label as juvenile, which I would say otherwise. The thing is, it's kind of difficult to figure out what kind of style you want to have when you first get into fashion, or maybe you're just a person that, you know, clicked on this video because you decided like you don't enjoy the way that you dress anymore, or you got a new job or something and you have to switch things up. The first thing that I think somebody should consider when they are figuring out a new style for themselves is they need to think about the lifestyle that they live. When I say that, I mean, what is their job? What are your hobbies? What are things that you do day to day? Because all of those things kind of play into what kind of clothes you should wear. And when it comes to finding a new style, I find that a lot of people kind of just end up dressing as if it's a uniform or a costume. And I don't think anyone should ever be wearing clothes and feel like they have to dress up a certain way, because like I said, that's kind of just wearing a costume. I mean, that's cool if you're doing like theater or Halloween party or something, but you shouldn't be uncomfortable when you put something on. You shouldn't feel obligated to purchase certain kinds of things to fit into a certain mold. You should just wear outfits that you think look good. And obviously, at the end of the day, it's just choosing clothes that you like, but I'm trying to give additional tools that can help guide people to the right direction, because sometimes it's hard to figure that out. You have to consider what you're doing every day. If you're more active or more of a relaxed lifestyle, how much are you moving around? How old are you? Does your job require a uniform or a dress code? Do you have to worry about if children are going to throw up on your clothes? You have to think about all these things when you're considering what you're going to purchase in order to fit into a certain style, because it's honestly kind of hard to have like a lifestyle of, I'd imagine, being like a parent when you're wearing very expensive designer clothes. Like, I probably wouldn't want to hold my child as much as a normal parent should if I was wearing my Rick Owens or something like that. A lot of the times, if you just think about different people in your life and different hobbies, skills, jobs, things like that about certain people, you can kind of tell what kind of person someone is by their style and look, because oftentimes you adopt the kind of clothes that require you to do whatever job that you're doing, or, you know, your certain lifestyle requires that you have whatever kind of thing that you're wearing. You know, a lot of times I go to like Yu-Gi-Oh card shops, and a lot of the dudes there have like really weird graphic shirts or shirts, nerdy things, and like cargo shorts to hold their decks and stuff like that. And, you know, in the fashion world, the people kind of frown upon that look, and it's not considered stylish or fashionable at all. However, I think that those people are kind of living true to themselves, so their style is honest and real, and I think that that's the best thing to do at the end of the day. When you consider what kind of things you're doing every day, there's a lot of different lifestyle brands and companies that kind of cater to different kinds of things. Obviously, there's athletic wear, and then there's business clothes, and there's business casual, and then there's casual clothes. And after you've kind of figured out what kind of clothes you want to go for, you have to figure out the brands and the pricings, and depending on your budget, this is where research on the internet is going to help. And the next step comes into searching forums and going onto the fashion communities online. I like to encourage that people try to stay on whatever social media or forum or whatever they're the most comfortable on, and just find the fashion community there, because if you try to switch niche to different fashion communities. They're kind of, I don't know, like, for example, there's Reddit and there's male fashion on there and male fashion advice and streetwear and tech wear subreddits. Those are some of the bigger ones. And Reddit is a good place for presenting a lot of content at once, and there's a lot of experimental stuff and things that people make themselves and kind of promotion of brands. And I even put my own YouTube videos on there to show the content that I'm talking about with the community, because it's pretty friendly for people to talk on there. However, I think that the conversation a lot of times in the fashion subreddits are a lot more casual than they are on different forums, and it oftentimes can lead to some misinformation being spread, and there's often like debates that happen because of all of this. There's not very like large consensus on anything, but that's kind of cool. There's like a discourse of people like not always arguing, but also discussing subjects and figuring things out. The majority of fashion people, I believe, from what I've seen, the frequency of posts and things like that are on Reddit. So if you want the biggest, most like normal people community, I would say go to Reddit, go on the male fashion advice or female fashion advice or whatever you want to decide, and you can just see different styles and aesthetics there, and they have guides, and that's a good place to find information. On top of that, if you want to get something that's a lot more like gear heavy and brand centric and designer centric, and they care about manufacturing and things like that are a lot more deep when it comes to fashion, I would suggest going on to Superfuture. That forum has things for denim and fashion and tech wear and things like that, and the discussions there seem to be a lot more like higher level and deeper. I don't think of it in like pretentious terms or like condescending at all. It's just the people there are very knowledgeable and a lot of times older than the other subreddits and forums, because a lot of the other forums it's like teenagers and younger people. And I'd assume people that are watching this video, they want to figure out like what I'm trying to explore, your own style. So Superfuture is a good place for very intelligent discussions. And then I think Instagram is really good for just exploring different kinds of looks. And on Instagram, you can then learn more about brands and stuff like that, because people will tag the brands that they're wearing. And oftentimes there are interesting silhouettes and outfits that you're able to find on Instagram, because a lot of people who are models and people who are into style and fashion and things like that kind of showcase their looks on there. And that's probably the best place to figure out what exactly a certain style looks like. And then from there, you can go and purchase whatever brand you're looking for, whatever style you're trying to achieve. And then finally, the places of which you need to purchase your clothes. And this is completely dependent on your budget. There's low end, middle end, and high end that I'll discuss. On the lowest end for getting a new style, I suggest just going to the thrift store and buying the clothes there. I think that you can find most styles and aesthetics and silhouettes at a thrift store. You know, if you think of things in terms of decades as certain kinds of aesthetics of clothes or lifestyles, like, you know, there's like preppy people or, you know, athletic people or more like outdoorsy people and things like that. You can find all those different kinds of looks at a thrift store, and it's pretty cheap. At least if you're in the United States, those are fairly common. I don't know how common they are overseas. I've heard that they're less common in Asia. So the thrift store is a good blanket place that's safe for you to experiment and getting new clothes, and it's fairly cheap, and you can find a lot of aesthetics there. So I think that's a good place to start for someone who doesn't have a lot of money, or someone who's younger, or someone who wants to try something new when it comes to fashion. It's a perfect place to find things. After that, you can go to the mall, and basically anything that's at the mall, you can shop at. Just normal mall stores, I would say, are a good place to shop for clothes when you're getting into style. You know, some of the people in some of the fashion communities call certain mall clothing mall core and kind of frown upon it and think it's like normie behavior. I think that it's a good place for any average person who wants to look for semi-trendy things at a good price, because they kind of follow higher fashion trends. So whatever you're into, whether you're like an Abercrombie kind of person or Nordstrom kind of person or PacSun or whatever stores in the mall, you know what kind of looks are out there. Go to that store, get clothes there. Go to Hot Topic if you're emo or whatever. I'm not trying to dictate what exactly you should look like. I just want to give you the tools to facilitate it, you know, because I think everyone should just be comfortable in their own clothes and confident, because that's what I like about fashion. Thirdly, you have high-end designer, and some of my favorite websites to shop for things are Farfetched, Sense, Haven, Dark Side Initiative, Union Los Angeles, Grailed for secondhand designer. Those are all good sites to get designer clothes, and if you do research on the forums and learn about specific designers you like, that's the place where you will have to purchase them, and or the designer's own website if they happen to have that, or their own flagship store if they happen to have one if you live in like Los Angeles or New York or a big city like that. So I hope today the guidance that I try to give to everyone was palatable and understandable. I tried to break it down into figuring out exactly what kind of look you're looking for and how to do that and where to find the information online and then where to then purchase it. That's my guide on figuring out your own unique style. It's the path I followed. You know, I just started searching on the internet until I found forums that I liked, and then I figured out what kind of clothes or brands or things I had to do to look like that. And that's basically just the journey that I suggest people go on when they want to figure out their own style. I don't think that you should be forced into looking any certain way or buying any certain kind of brands. I think it just depends on the person. So at the end of the day, people are just going to choose what they like anyways. So I hope this video was helpful for anyone who was looking for style or fashion advice. I hope you guys check out some of my other videos. Leave a comment down below on anything that I kind of missed out on or what your thoughts are on my viewpoints that I brought up in this video. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Stay Gucci. If you guys are still watching until now, I would like to share this video with you. I helped work on my friend's music video, and I'll leave it in the description and also here on the screen. So check it out if you like alternative rock. It's a pretty cool video, and that is it. Namaste.